So you get to decide as the owner, am I taking that 10% or am I going to use that 10% to pay someone else to do all the things an owner does?
Then at the end of all of this, we'll break down like the difference on the actual pay structure that we told you guys that we were going to go over. So that way you can make the best decision for yourself. So we're back for part 2 of our previous commission versus booth rent / suite rent.
Yeah, fight.
What are your numbers?
KO.
I mean, people were fucking fighting on our, you hit the mic.
I know.
People were fighting on our TikTok for sure. So I wonder if they'll fight again. This will be interesting. There's some hostility in this industry.
I know. I like it. I mean, I don't like it.
I mean, I don't like it, but it was entertaining.
Yes.
Keep going. I want to know more.
Yeah, give us something else to talk about because, I mean, it worked.
It did. Yeah, for sure. So we're going to talk about booth rent / suite rent. We're going to wrap them together because, I mean, it's one and the same thing. I mean, booth rent, like you're just out in the open. Suite rent, you're...
Just say self-employed hairstylist.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That works.
Self-employed, so 1099, but not commission 1099.
Not commission 1099.
We talked about that in the last episode. So if you are commission 1099 and you didn't hear the last episode, go listen because that shit's illegal.
In most states.
In most states. Yeah.
Cool.
But definitely if you're in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So we've got, what do we got?
Our biggest complaints that we hear about booth rent, we've got a list. And I know we compiled this basically like the issues that we've heard, the issues that we wanted to avoid opening a suite rental salon because we own that as well. And the things that we dealt with when we were booth rent.
Yeah.
So,
but not into too much detail because I feel like that's going to be a whole
That's a whole other episode. Oh yeah, that's a big one. So
it's coming for ya. Better watch out.
Are you gonna start singing? You're just singing the rest of the podcast.
I'm gonna be a DJ. Be a DJ.
That's how you feel because you have the little buttons over there.
Yeah, I'm a button pusher.
She's our button pusher over there.
I want to push one, but I don't remember what they were.
Oh, here, push one. Just push a random one.
I like the pink one.
Okay. Are you a fairy? What's that? God. Oh my God. Okay. So let's start with the first one. What's the biggest complaint that we hear about booth rent? Oh, the first one. No one picks up after themselves. I hated that shit. Oh my God.
It's like a petty one, but I mean, we hear it in commission too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about it. It's like having roommates. We all had them. I mean, I had one in college. She's probably going to listen to this because she's a hairstylist, so I'm going to be nice, but I still love her anyway. So I had a roommate and she would use my dishes, but she would say, "They're your dish. I didn't use it." And she would put it in front of my door for me to clean. I was like, "Honey, I don't cook.
I don't cook. I did not make mac and cheese. I know that because I'm broke and I couldn't afford mac and cheese." So.
I was like, no. But anyway, people just don't realize what's being done around you and what needs to be done, right? We all kind of see things differently.
Yeah, and everyone's level of cleanliness is different too. So one thing that would irk you may not irk the other person. And in commission, like we have a list of things that gets done and every week it goes through a cycle. So the same person's not doing the same thing. But it's also like, okay, if you see this and you're slower, like help the person out because one day you're going to be that person that's slammed and you're going to want the help.
Yeah.
But in booth rent, it's a free-for-all, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell anyone to go clean up something. It's just constant bitching back and forth. And then people are like, well, the owner's not going to clean it, generally.
No. Most of the time, the owner is not even there, I feel like.
And if they are, like, that's amazing. But they're not getting paid to pick up all of your stuff when they're not doing the service. So you have to clean up all those things. In suite rental, I mean, you should be cleaning your room. Otherwise, that's just messy.
Yeah, think about, I mean, that's one thing I loved about suite rental is that if I had a mess, but I had to be at dinner 30 minutes ago, I could just leave, lock my room, and nobody was going to bitch.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. As long as, I mean, I probably cared the next morning when I forgot I left it that way.
And you're running late.
But think about it. Like, you feel obligated that you have to stay and clean up after yourself. Or if you don't stay and clean up after yourself, then everybody hates you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, don't be the messy girl.
The common areas, microwaves, stuff like that. It's like, oh my God.
The salon fridge.
Yeah.
Like, who ate salad or sushi 4 months ago. Like, you know, like that was always a thing in salons too. It was like, okay, we need to clean out the thing because nobody's cleaning out the fridge.
Yeah.
Bowls, color bowls, sinks staying dirty. You know, somebody else goes to rinse their blonde client and there's red.
Yeah. Shampoo, not, just being everywhere, 500 different bottles of shampoo everywhere, not compiled up. The next one, they just open and throw right next to the old one. That's annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be days where one bag of trash would sit at the front of the salon I worked at.
For days?
For days, honey.
But nobody would take it out?
No. I mean, because we didn't have a cleaning person and everybody was like, well, I did trash 4 times this week.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nobody holding it accountable or to help out. So it's like, well, I'm not doing it. She took it out. And then somebody's like, well, I bagged it, so why do I have to take it out?
Yeah. And I'm booth rent, so I don't have to do it anyway.
Exactly.
Or the phone being answered. Like, why even have a phone at
a booth rent salon?
No. It's not going to get answered because, hell no, I'm not answering it.
Exactly. But in a commission salon, we can tell them like, okay, so if you answer the phone, book that appointment for yourself if you want to do it. That's the perk of answering the phone. I know when I worked at beauty brands, like working in because I worked as a stylist as well as answering all of the phones. Like I was a receptionist too. And so I'm like, well, I get all the call-ins. Yeah. I'm going to take them.
Exactly.
So that is a perk. But if you're booth rent, I mean, I guess technically you could take them for yourself as well too. So use that as a positive. But who wants to walk away from their client to do all of that when you're not, I don't know, especially if you're a full booth renter. Because the thing was, if you're busy, then you go booth rent. So if you're busy, you're not going to want to answer the phone because you have no room for these clients.
You don't need new clients. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to use that argument, like, why would you answer the phone?
Yeah.
So just clean up after yourself, I guess is the moral of the story.
Yeah, but we don't have solutions for these.
I don't.
So this is just kind of issues we've seen.
Yeah. Where it's like, if you are going to go booth rent, realize that there are issues that come with that as well too.
Yeah.
And so then at the end of all of this, we'll break down like the difference on the actual pay structure that we told you guys that we were going to go over. So that way you can make the best decision for yourself.
It's a time you're not going to charge your guests because then you're going to look like an asshole because it's you that's doing it, not the salon.
Exactly. And I mean, even when I started doing cancellation policies, this was 6 years ago when I went booth rent. And I was the first person in the salon to actually do it. And they were like, you're going to lose so many people. And I was like, well, I don't really care because if they don't respect my time, I don't really want them in the chair. And they're like, well, you're still building, so you're never going to make it. So I think 6 years later, there is a lot more standard in the industry where no-show policies and cancellation policies are more put in effect. But I have a hard time like actually telling the client, sorry, you're going to have to pay this.
Yeah. I mean, and the busier you are, the less cancellations you'll have, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I felt like my first cancellation policy I ever had was more mental. It was like, okay, well, if they're not going to show up, I'm not going to take them again.
Exactly.
If they're going to keep canceling on me, well, I don't have anywhere to put them, so they're not going to be able to come anyway.
Yes. And you have to hold yourself accountable on that. You don't have a salon that's helping you with that. So if you have the mental capacity to be like, no, this is my policy and your mental is there for it, you can do it for sure. Like that's an easy solution.
Yeah.
It's just
Adhering to it? Yeah.
Uphold. I put those two together.
You have to uphold it.
Uphold it. There comes a point where you just get so frustrated where you're like, screw it. Like, I'm going to have to do this.
And then they keep texting you, hey, why didn't you answer? Why aren't you booking me? And then they come into the salon to find you and hunt you down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you're like, that's your guest, Yeah. And so at least if you're in a commission salon, there's usually front desk or someone to like kind of, I know there's a funnel that it goes through, but when you're booth rent, it's like, yep, that's her guest. Go get her. She's over there washing someone else. Go talk to her.
Yeah, go talk to her.
Yeah, not my business.
Nope.
So
I'm not helping. I don't have her online booking app. I can't book you anyway.
Yeah, so. I can't change anything. I can't charge. I can't see any of that. Call her. So then you have a multitude of people to respond to by the time you're done with your day.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a big one. What's the other one?
Sorry, you couldn't hear me. Salon renovations are few and far between because the salon is capped out on income.
Yeah. So if you only have so many booths, let's say your salon has 8-9 booths in there and they're charging $250 a week. Well, they have to pay their rent. They have to pay for the water. They have to pay for everything that takes to own a brick and mortar business. They can only make so much. The only way they can go up is if they raise your booth rent. And the potential of losing people sometimes isn't worth the actual raise. So, and then you have all these other salons that are popping up everywhere that are new and pretty. And then you might lose your people because that's new and pretty.
Yeah. And they're charging the same price.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know booth rent owners that have been open for a very long time, and they're like, it's hard because by the time that the trends change of what's pretty, because before it was like very eclectic, and then it went really boho, and now everything's white. You know, it's like, I can't keep up with the change. I mean, we just spent, what, 10 grand on our renovation pretty much? It's expensive. So, I mean, you can't really expect your booth rental owner to constantly do all of that if all the money's being poured into all of those other things, into back bar, shampoo. I mean, that's a perk, but what else? I mean, what else are
Cleaning
they paying for?
people?
Yeah, because usually you want somebody for cleaning.
Yeah, because nobody else is going to clean.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not going to catch me wiping down windows if I'm booth renting or suite renting.
Right, and if the owner is coming in and doing all of that, then she's going to want a paycheck.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to pay someone, whether it's the cleaning person or whether it's the owner.
Or you, yeah. Time value, once again.
And that's the other thing too. If the owner poured all of their money into opening this salon, they deserve a paycheck back. I mean, I'm talking to myself there. We talked about in the last episode that we haven't even taken a check. And I don't even want to, when we met with our CPA, what did we tell them? When they were talking about how much money have you poured into this? Do you remember that conversation?
Was it $50,000?
Yeah. I mean, initially when we opened, it was like 25 and 25-ish. And they're like, so how are you going to pay yourself back? And we were like,
we have no clue.
I don't even want to look into
we just
that.
wiped the slate clean. We were like, we don't know.
I have no interest in that. I'm just interested in moving forward at some point, making a little bit of a check would be cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't even want to be paid back. Like going back through all of that would be so hard. But as a booth rental salon, so I'm just going to pour $50,000 into a salon, which that's cheap. $50,000 is cheap.
Oh yeah, we got out lucky because we had a space that was previously a salon. Mm-hmm. So I mean, for
Plumbing
each of us, everything.
Yeah.
So,
but when we went to Summit for the coaching, they were like, "You only spent $50,000."
We had no debt.
Yeah, no debt. So no debt starting out. That's another thing.
The sign I think we had.
Yeah, the sign was debt, and that was it. Everything else we paid for. But they were like, you do realize that most salons spend $250,000 to open a salon. So let's say I open a salon and I pour $250,000 into it. I would like that money back. So yeah, the owner should be taking a cut booth rental. So yeah, you're not going to get new renovations because I already spent $250,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that again in 2 years?
No.
So you're generally stuck with what you have.
That's so much money.
That's so much money.
I mean, how long do you have to have that salon open to make that back? Because, I mean, I ain't running a salon when I'm 70, honey.
No. And that's,
you won't want me to.
No. I mean, I just saw a booth rental salon that's closing in Norman, and their salon is gorgeous. They could have easily spent $250,000. They were open for 10 years. It probably took that 10 years to get that back, or they just cut their losses. I'm not sure.
At that point.
You just cut your losses and learn from it. And they're like, we're moving into other business ventures because salons don't make money. So, I mean, I guess if you want renovations all the time, you're probably just going to move to a different salon or be in a commission salon that's actually going to pour into it. Because not every commission salon does pour back into it.
I think we've kind of gotten lucky.
For sure. So it's been nice. But I mean, we even asked them though too. Like we said, okay, do you guys want to do a big 2-year party and go do something, or do you want renovations? And they chose. So, I mean, if you are in a booth rent salon where they're giving you these options for updating, like that's amazing. That's amazing. Like be thankful for that because that's not the norm at all. So what's our next one?
Drama happens more often.
Because you generally can't fire a booth renter.
No.
When you can.
If you've got someone on the waiting list or something, but imagine you've got like 4 stations at your salon that are not taken. You think the owner's just going to fire someone that's paying rent?
Right. That's dramatic. They're just going to deal with it.
Yeah.
And especially if they're not in the building.
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
I don't have to work there. But I mean, if they're going to drive 3 other people out, I should care.
Yes, exactly. So you have less, I don't know, I guess there's more room for drama to ensue because because they're not firing them. I don't know. Because if if it does start affecting the guest, it's not the owner's issue because it's not their job to provide guests to a booth renter. So if a booth renter is having a problem, they usually remove themselves from the salon.
And think about it this way, too. If you're not a team environment, you really don't give a shit about who you're working next to.
No.
And the conversations that people have when you're in booth rent salon, like there's no control over the conversations. So somebody could get easily offended. I noticed that multiple times where I was supposed to know something that had happened behind me because I was in the same room.
Right.
I had no clue.
No, I'm paying attention to my guests and keeping them happy because that's what pays me.
I had no clue what happened. And so I was the bad guy because I said something and I was like, oh, I didn't know that wasn't your friend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had no idea. Yeah.
I was just being nice.
Or there's no like control over what can and can't be talked about in salons. I know there's like things that you're not supposed to talk about in salons, like religion, politics, what's something else?
I don't know.
I don't know. Those are usually the two main ones.
Just any kind of controversy, really.
COVID was a big one where people like were tired of hearing about it, or that's all they wanted to hear about.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go to a salon, you want to relax, right? Because I mean, either like somebody's watching your baby for you, or I mean, it's honestly, it should be a relaxing experience anyway. You're getting your hair shampooed. Who doesn't love that? So, I mean, to go in and then hear about the presidential election, oh my God. I was just like,
I'm done.
At the point,
you are my 10th client today. I've had the same conversations 10 times in a row.
I shut it down. Yeah. And then any other stylists that were in our salon, I was like, we cannot talk about this anymore. Because the last thing somebody coming in here to relax wants to hear about is how the president is, I guess, not going to be a Republican because Oklahoma freaks out about it not being a Republican.
Exactly. So whereas with a booth rental salon, you can't tell another booth renter, hey, that offended my, well, I mean, I guess you could, but it may not be well received because they're like, well, stay out of my conversation.
Yeah.
But in our salon, like we even told them, like, even if they want to talk about it, here's some verbiage to use. Like, for example, what did we tell them? We said, say something like, I can see that you're like really riled up about it and very passionate about this, but let's just like leave the outside world outside and just relax for your 2 hours that you're here, or whatever it is.
And then you can go back to it.
Yeah. And then you can talk about something else. And usually they're like, oh, okay. But if you don't have that coaching, how would you know? You usually just sit there in silence and you're like, okay, yeah,
And then Sally's client over there is getting pissed off because you're talking about how you like, I don't know, blue instead of red.
Right.
Like,
I hate blue.
Yeah,
I'm offended.
I don't care.
By your blue conversation.
Your blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die.
So it's like, you just don't have as much control. Like, I just don't, it's going to happen. Drama's going to happen in all salons generally, but if you don't have someone to cut that out and monitor it.
Yeah, in our commission salon, we all speak the same language.
Yes.
So we have verbiage and different things like that. So in a booth rent salon, I mean, and I'm free to be who I am.
Yeah.
I'm free to run my business how I want to.
Exactly.
So I'm free to talk about what I want to.
Exactly. But suite rental, you can shut your door.
That's true.
You can shut your door.
But I can still hear your ass through the vents, honey.
That's true. That is true. Yep, I can. So you can shut your door, but then sometimes if you are shutting the door, then that conversation has to ensue.
And then you look like an asshole too, because you're shutting your door when everybody else has their door open or whatever.
Right.
Gosh, come on, guys. Like, I just wanted to close my door and watch The Bachelor. Okay?
Right, exactly. Without hearing blow dryers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shut my door. It's not that serious. So, I mean, just pick what you think would be best. Drama's going to happen in the industry, but there's definitely salons out there where there's not as much of it. So just find your culture. Find the people that mix.
Yeah, find your family.
Yeah, for sure.
Toxic.
Oh, yeah.
You
Toxic
remember?
salons. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, if they call themselves a family, they're toxic. Oh, okay, honey.
I'm like, no, we genuinely care about each other, and we're going to be there for each other, even if we're at work or not. That, to me, is a family.
Yep.
And if you think that that's toxic, then maybe you have ulterior motives when you call people family. Like, I don't know, weird. So
next one.
Okay, next one would be unemployment is practically non-existent. So COVID, still having to pay if the salon shuts down, that kind of stuff. So if you are unemployed, do you still have to pay for your booth?
Yeah, wow.
That was a big one that I don't think people had to think about until 2020.
Yeah, no, I would never in my mind as a salon owner be like, well, how do I pay the rent? Do I still charge my booth renters?
Yeah, because that as an owner would have been really difficult. We opened May 2020, but I can't imagine those owners that had landlords that were like, you still got to pay me.
Yeah.
And then you look like the dick because you're like, you still got to pay me even though you're not working, but they don't realize that that $10,000 rent is still due at the end of every month.
Yeah.
And we don't know when we're opening back up. Now, some did get gracious, like, I don't know, they had landlords that were gracious, but I know that wasn't for everyone.
No, I couldn't imagine being asked to pay for my booth rent. I guess maybe if I had a contract or something signed that said no matter what, I would pay this.
But that verbiage generally wasn't there because they didn't know this was going to happen. That verbiage got added after COVID happened to protect the owners.
I mean, speaking to an owner from before I was an owner, sorry about you. You're the one who signed the 5-year lease, honey.
Exactly. Yeah, you should be.
You have to pay that.
You should be prepared and have savings. And that goes back into salon renovations and the money. An owner should have savings. What if the washer breaks? The water breaks?
Yeah.
The water heater. You know, it's like you have to have a savings account.
Yeah.
So I think that did shut a lot of salons after they didn't have savings. And they're just like, oh, guess I'm going bankrupt. Okay, we're closing.
Bye.
Scary. Scary.
I had something to add, and of course I lost it.
That's okay. Unemployment.
Oh, man. I mean, being self-employed and getting unemployment during COVID was miserable.
Oh.
It took me 3 months to even get it.
Yeah, and at that point, we're back working and everything. And yes, they did back pay, but the people that were W-2, they just like sent in their little form with their taxes, and it's like, oh, okay. And if you weren't claiming how much you made, you got screwed.
Yeah, that's on you, though.
They're like, oh, you made $500 a month because you only paid taxes on $500 a month?
So then here's $500 for the month.
There you go. Yeah. So that's another thing, like looking at
claiming your
income.
income.
Unemployment.
If you want to buy a house, if you want to help your spouse buy a house, we'll use spouse now.
Okay. Yeah, spouse.
I liked it. Partner.
So, your partner.
Partner, yeah.
Yeah. If you're single and you want to buy something, a lot of people don't know this, especially coming out of school. But if you're 1099, you have to have 2 years worth of tax returns before you can purchase anything, a car, a house.
As a 1099.
Yeah.
Not just, no. I mean, like, I was W-2 for 5 years, same industry, went out on my own, couldn't buy a house because I was
Because you also had a 1099?
Huh?
Because you also had a 1099?
No, I was W-2 and then
went
to 1099. I couldn't.
That's insane.
It's same industry. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. But you basically have to prove
claim your income pretty much, or can't prove it.
Yeah, you have to prove to the government that you can make money
as
consistently for 2 years. Yeah. So if you are planning on going booth rent and you've been commissioned, or maybe you're just new in the industry, make sure you don't have to buy anything for at least 2 years.
And I guess all lenders aren't like that, but then you have to find, like, I guess maybe a shady lender or something, or like a small bank
Good
to
luck.
even be able to do that. I mean, I couldn't find anyone.
No, it would be very, very hard. The stress alone, no.
Stress buying a house is enough.
Let alone being 1099.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're married or have a significant other that's also going on I don't know, they can just take the entire loan.
Yeah, because you can't
be on it.
Co-sign it. Yeah.
No, you can't be on it. So yeah. The next one, this is a good one. Taxes. That one's scary. So I guess we're only speaking to the people that actually pay their taxes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in our industry don't pay their taxes.
They claim, a lot less.
Yeah, or claim a lot less. I mean, I know stylists that hadn't paid their taxes the entire time when they were booth rent. They'd been booth rent for 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
Never once paid a tax, like taxes at all.
I mean, they will come for you, honey.
Oh yeah, I'm not scared of a lot of things. I'm scared of the IRS.
Yeah.
Like that terrifies me. So with your taxes, I mean, we'll go into numbers and that kind of stuff too, but I mean, that is something that is fully on you.
Yeah. You have to pay whatever that, I think it ends up being, I don't know, something around 25% they say to set aside for taxes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to say the number is like 9% your employer would be paying for you, but now you're paying self-employed, which is more than that 9%. I think it's like 13%.
Self-employment tax is more than normal employer tax.
Yeah.
Employee tax. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, they charge you more for owning a business.
Yes.
Pretty much is the bottom line. And then you have to pay a CPA or a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And it's not as simple as being like, here's my W-2, file it.
No. Because you have all your write-offs, you have all your products. So you have to open a bank account. You have to have an LLC that renews yearly.
There's so much that goes into it. So you either bookkeep yourself and then have someone pay and file it at the end, or you pay for a bookkeeper. So that's a lot of money and or time.
I remember figuring that out in 2015 when I left commission. I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't know I needed a separate bank account until 2 years after the fact because, I mean, that would have made my life so much easier.
Yes.
Instead of having to sift through all of my personal purchases as well. That was awful.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine how many transactions. Like, no.
It was a lot.
No, absolutely not. So if there's one piece of advice, just get a bookkeeper. Get a bookkeeper, please. Like, it'll make your life.
It's not super expensive. I mean, you can pay for what is it called? I don't even know because I don't use the app anymore. So
QuickBooks?
QuickBooks. You can pay for that and do it yourself. But once again, I mean, if you have a normal bank account, but then
Yeah.
you're purchasing everything and then you don't know what you can write off. You don't know what's legal. You don't know what's illegal. You try and write off too much. And then at the end of the year, you're like, well, now it says I made $100,000. And you're like, I definitely didn't take that home.
Yeah.
I missed something. Or it says you made $17,000 and you're like, oh, well, I guess I need to prove more income here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I shouldn't have written off my nails.
Yeah.
Or my clothing. Oh my gosh.
Like, people learn what you can and can't write off.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a big thing. So we'll go into taxes and actual breakdown in a little bit, but the next thing would be boundaries. So coming in on your days off.
Yeah,
it's harder to say no.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about that a little bit in the last episode, but I mean, we see it even with the people that move from commission to booth rent. They're up on their days off, which you have the freedom to do that. Do it. I mean, more power to you, I guess. But where's your work-life balance? Do you have the, I guess, again, mental capacity to be like, no, this is my day off and I'm not doing it?
Yeah. And if you're commissioned, you can be like, they don't have space for me. I can't go in today.
Even if they do, you could just blame it on the salon.
Yeah, no.
Not doing it.
I'm not scheduled. I can't be in there.
Or those clients aren't even contacting you. They're contacting the salon.
There's that.
And the manager or whoever is like, oh, nope, she doesn't work today, but she can get you in Thursday. You don't even have to have the conversation.
No.
But, so with the booth rent side of things, you're now dealing with all of your texts. And now even if you are going to say no, you feel guilt. Like, oh, should I go in on my day off and do this? Like, am I going to lose a client by making her
Don't
upset?
mistake your free time for your availability.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing. Like, don't feel bad for that, because I have, who was it? Somebody said this the other day, that they said, no, I'm off on Sundays. And they said, well, what else are you doing? It was someone in the suite rental side. And I just like stared at them and I was like, that is rude.
What else am I doing?
Yeah.
Kicking your ass.
Oh, no, you know what? I think it was someone that was booth rent before. And she was like, yeah, they'd always bug me. So what are you doing? I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to sit on the couch and eat and watch Netflix. None of your business.
I'm going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner all before noon.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And I don't care. Like, not your business. I don't call you and be like, why'd you reschedule an appointment? What are you actually doing?
Well, I'm drinking a whole bottle of tequila.
Why does it matter? Like, those aren't my working days.
Do you always work?
Yeah. Like, do you work 24/7? Why do you expect me to?
Yeah.
Like, there's also kind of that balance in this industry where it's like, our industry is not respected. Like, I guess because we're there on their off times.
Yeah, I guess typically stylists would work evenings and weekends because that's opposite of what people would do. But I mean, there's so much flexibility with jobs now. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, I could sit here and take, I already have, but whenever I stopped working evenings, magical. All those evening people ended up being my 9 a.m. people.
Yeah.
Ooh, magical.
I'm like, for 2 years,
should I push the magic button again?
Yeah, push the magic button. Do it. After 2 years of you telling me I can only do 5 o'clock, absolutely nothing else, and then now I do not work past 3, and you're like, yeah, I'll do 9. What? I'm going to walk away before I literally throw something at your head. Like, I cannot take that. But it's happened a lot, switching schedules. So just, if you're booth rent, just stick to your, just put your schedule, and then that's all that it is.
Stick to it. Don't stay 30 minutes late.
No.
I catch myself still doing that sometimes. Yeah. Like, I'll still be home by 4. It's fine. Yeah. Whatever.
Your client will be fine. And even if you lose someone because you're not coming in exactly when they want you to, I mean, there's more people out there. Like, have a positive mindset. Like, there's plenty of clients to go around. Mm-hmm. Do not stress about that one client that gives you anxiety for the whole 6 weeks, and then she pops back in at 6 weeks, and then you're just anxious.
What is it? 10% of your...
Oh, what is it?
10% of your customers drain 90% of your energy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just drop them.
Bye.
Someone else's problem. You can't pay me enough to deal with, and sometimes they are good paying clients. And sometimes though, it's crazy because you'll actually implement a policy and you'll be like, no more, this is enough, I'm done here. And then all of a sudden they're just the nicest clients in the world.
Yeah. It's having boundaries and sticking to them.
Yeah. They just needed to know you were serious.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't happen. And then you can just, I don't know.
Yeah. And then they won't expect it. So, it's kind of your fault. If you give them something, they're going to expect it.
Exactly. So the moment you decide that you're going to implement policies, expect some pushback.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been a pushover the entire time. It's normal. But don't let them make you feel bad.
No.
All right. So our next one would be the industry median, which we talked about this a little bit, why people look down on our industry. And it does come back to taxes. But I mean, our median is what, $20,000 a year is what a stylist makes?
25? I can't remember. I think we said 25.
Somewhere in there. 20, 25. Less than 30,000. You're broke. Okay. Like you're not making enough if that is the case.
Even for Oklahoma, come on. No. Like up in New York, I mean, you'd be like on the streets for $30,000. But
and so for that to be the middle, like I know so many stylists that genuinely make over $100,000 a year. So why is this sitting at 20,000? Because then that means there's people way below that are making like 2.
I wonder if it's going to go up because now Venmo and Cash App and all this PayPal are getting smart.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, because now those people have to claim, because when that started happening, I saw so many booth runners posting, put a little star.
Yeah, don't put the service, don't put tip, don't put,
I'm like, you have to pay your credit card fees. So you're trying to get away from it. That should be budgeted into your pricing.
Yeah, that's another one.
That'll go
processing
into
fees. Yeah, because if you're not running as much money as a salon of 20 stylists, then, we kind of get a discount with that.
Yeah. So our credit card fees are lower, but I mean, 3.5% is a lot. So I see why people are using Venmo, but then they're also not claiming that cash generally.
Yeah, because it's considered cash.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah. So just, it'll benefit everyone as well as yourself.
Well, think about Social Security. Even if you are married, I mean, is it going to run out before we turn 70? Maybe. I don't know even how old you have to be.
I'm not going to focus on
to claim it.
That's sad.
But I mean, if you're not paying enough Social Security, then what are you going to live off of? If once again, you probably don't even have retirement funds set up. I mean, I'm laughing at myself because I don't at the moment. I've been trying to this year, because I'm trying to get ahead of it, because, I mean, at 18, you should be starting retirement.
Right. But it's the last thing people are thinking of.
Yeah. It's like, I got to pay off school loans. I got to pay off this. I got to pay off that. I need to buy this. I should have a better house. I should have a better car. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, but you want to live later?
Later.
Because these hands aren't going to work when I'm 70.
No. I mean,
be like this.
I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm already tired.
Yes.
Like, so I can only imagine these people that are 60 plus working. Like, that is so sad.
They're doing lashes at 60 years old. Come here, honey.
Blind.
Oh, yeah. You're like micro.
Oh, no.
What's that? I don't even know.
Those little glasses?
Magnifying glass.
Magnifying glasses.
Yeah, I'm like the big one.
Yeah, the really, really big one.
Yeah.
No one wants to work until they're that old. So like paying your taxes, savings, retirement, all of that should be built into your pricing as well too. So really take a look at that if you are booth rent. I mean, if you're commission, if you're anything.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that.
What's next?
Okay, so the next one would be no business experience, knowing your numbers, not having anyone holding you accountable, your work ethic, all of those kind of wrap into one. So if you've never owned a business before and you go booth rent, what are you going to struggle with?
I don't know. It depends on your personality too.
True.
Because I mean, if you're showing up to work 15 minutes late because nobody's holding you accountable, like they know me. Mm-hmm. My guests know me.
Yep.
So then when they show up 15 minutes late for you.
And then you're mad.
Yeah.
You either have to just not be mad and, just understand that that's what it is, or realize that at some point that it may be years down the road, but that client may just be like, well, she's going to show up on time, so I'm going to go to her.
Yeah. She respects my time, because that's kind of how some people view it. Like, once again, there's type A and type E. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's C, D, E, F, G, Z. But, I mean, yeah. Not everybody is like you.
Right.
And then if you drink too much the night before and you don't have to go to work and you're like, I'm going to cancel my 5 clients today because I don't feel good.
There's no one to hold you accountable. It's crazy. One of the first places that I went booth rent, the commission salon I was at before, I grew 50% of my clientele off of a stylist that was always drinking and would not show up for her clients. I was there working. They would come in for her appointment. They'd be like, well, can you just do it? And I took literally all of her clients. Mm-hmm. Off of a stylist that had been doing it for a long time and it was booth rent. So that will happen. Like, the person that's there waiting will generally take your appointments. And this was prior to social media too. So even more so, they'll get on social media and go find someone else.
Yeah. Hairstylists are a dime a dozen.
Oh, 100%. So just, if you are going to be booth rent, hold yourself accountable. Give yourself the business experience that you need. Do the research, figure out what's going to grow you, market you. You can do really well at it, but you have to have that drive to study all of that when you're not working behind the chair.
Yeah.
And if it's not your personality, then maybe it's not for you. But there are other people it is 100% their personality, and they have to have that much control, and it just works out for them. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into our pie chart. So this kind of breaks down what people think. So if you didn't listen to our previous episode, we talked about commission. So this is going to kind of push the two together. So this goes into what people think that they see commission salons take. I guess. I mean, okay, so what's on here? 50-50?
Yeah.
It's a little circle?
Yeah. So it's literally a pie chart that's split down the middle, and it says this is what people think is reality.
50%.
This is what they think.
Yeah.
So the stylist is taking home whatever percentage, and then the owner takes home the other percent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No.
So if we're going to do an even 50%, let's say you take home 50%, the owner takes 50%. That is the thought process behind commission.
Yeah, no.
The reality would be the stylist takes home that 50% or whatever their commission is. And then you have your 40% is expenses. So your overhead, taxes, supplies, your rent, your credit card payments and processing. And then 10% generally goes to the owner. 10% is pretty high for an owner, but I know that there's ranges between 0 and 20%. It just depends on the salon that you're at. But like we talked about with the last one, ask your owner.
Yeah.
They should be able to give you these numbers.
Yeah. So I think with ours, we should be able to take home, I want to say, if we stick to budget, it should be up to 7%. If we stick to everything we're doing. So if we're saving that 7%, that's how we were able to pour into everything.
Yes. Yeah, because our paycheck.
Into our renovation.
Just went into renovations and events and things like that to, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Better the salon.
Yeah, to better the salon.
Yeah. So with the reality pie chart, so if you were to go from commission to booth rent, this is your reality. You still take home that 50%, but that other 50%, 40% of that is your tax or your expenses. That 10% goes to the owner. So you get to decide as the owner, am I taking that 10% or am I going to use that 10% to pay someone else to do all the things an owner does?
Yes, exactly.
That's the reality, people.
Yeah. So you can work up to 60%. I don't know any booth renter that truly makes more than 60%. And if you do, challenge me. Send me your numbers. Send me how you break everything down. I would love to know it.
Yeah, if you claim it.
Yeah, if you claim it. Exactly. If you're paying, I'm only talking to the people paying their taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your taxes, stay out of the conversation.
So, I mean, we have a breakdown here. It's like how many hours it takes to be the owner. Yeah. So whatever those hours are, whatever it takes to be that owner, sometimes it takes you longer, sometimes it takes you less. So if you're really good at your taxes, do your taxes. If you're really good at your bookkeeping, do your bookkeeping. If you're really good at social media, do your social media. But what we're saying, ordering. What we're saying is that 10% is the time freedom.
Portion
so
of it.
It's either you pay someone to do those things or you do them yourself.
And in exchange, give your time away.
Yeah.
So you're either giving your money away for someone to do it or you're giving your time away for someone to do it. Or for you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's either or. So, I mean, we have a breakdown. So a couple of things would be like, accounting, your continuous education. So what percentage do you allow for continuous education? What do we allow?
So generally we put a percentage aside. And so what they can do is whenever there's a class that they want, if the group decides that that's what they want to do, we take that allotment and purchase that class. So if you are a booth renter or a suite renter, what you should be doing is let's say you make $100, you should be setting aside 5%, whatever that is, aside to know you should better your education. Because if you're not spending at least $500 a year in education, you're behind.
Yeah.
This industry moves way too fast. You cannot be doing the same thing for 6 years straight. You will be so far behind.
So that's how you can take home your extra money is if you're not paying for classes.
That's true.
Once again, right there.
Yeah. But in the
Education.
end, you're going to end up falling behind and losing clients. So we want to move forward.
Yep.
We don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want to fall behind. So this is if you're wanting to move forward as a booth renter. So we talked about expenses. We talked about your rent, that kind of stuff as well too. Rent, generally, if you're going to be really smart with your rent, your booth rental per week should only be 10% of what you're bringing in. So let's say your booth rent is $250. You should at least be making $2,500 a week. If you're not, that booth rental expense is going to overtake what you're bringing in. And most people spend way more than that. They're way over budget on that.
Oh yeah, they don't know the budget.
No. They're just like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, it's about what everyone else
average.
pays. Yeah.
But then I'm only going to charge $25 for a haircut.
Yeah.
when everybody in that salon charges 52, but you don't know because you don't have access to any of that.
Exactly.
So
It's true.
I don't know. So, I mean, we've got a really nice breakdown here of service totals, retail sold, retail income, tips total, all of the good breakdowns. Do you want to give them all the numbers?
Yeah, we could do that. So what's the, let's pretend someone was making a certain amount. What's the amount that they're bringing in?
So they're bringing home service total. Let's see. So the full total, let's do $54.90.
Okay, so their service total is $54.90.
Their tips, that's all of it.
Everything. So tips, service,
That's their sales.
product, everything
That's
is
total
$54.90.
sales
That
for
is
the month.
what hit the bank.
$54.90.
As a booth runner. Got it. $54.90 went into your bank account. Let's say you are paying 2.75% in credit card fees. Okay. So that's going to be about $151, somewhere in there. And that's if you're only spending that much. You could spend more, you could spend less. So,
yeah. What was that percentage?
2.75.
Oh, yeah, no, that's more like 3.5.
Yeah,
honey.
Exactly. So we're being very conservative here.
Exactly.
Okay? We're being extremely conservative. Supplies, let's say $338. I mean, how much? God, I was going to the supply store and I didn't even have a budget. I would just go in and buy what I needed. And that's if they didn't raise prices. That's if I didn't see something pretty and cool that I wanted to try.
Yeah, most of the time. And then that doesn't even include buying back what you sold in retail.
Exactly. So now you also have to buy back what you sold in retail.
I sold $900.
Yep. So at least $450 of that needs to go to repurchasing that retail. That's not just income.
No, and that's not getting new products to sell. That's literally just buying what you sold.
Right. And what you've already purchased. So you're not even paying yourself back fully.
No.
You're just repurchasing. Your supplies. So if you're at 10%, let's say you're only allotting 10% in supplies, that's only $549 a month in supplies. I've seen so many stylists literally pick up receipts and be like, guess how much, or, show a basket, guess how much this is. A little basket of things is like $300. So you really think that you're spending less than $500 a month in repurchasing stuff? I mean, if you are, like, you're probably buying in bulk or like being really specific.
For me, whenever I was booth running.
Exactly. So again, let's assume you're only going to spend that $549. You're going to be really conservative. And then your weekly rent at $250, that's $1,000. Booking software, $100. We're not even going to go into any of those other things like CPA or any of that yet. But your expenses would be sitting at, what is that? $1,663?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So then your net income at this point would be $3,827. Okay. Then we'll go into taxes. So self-employment tax is going to be 15.3%, $585. Income tax, $765. Insurance and licenses. Because you have to keep up your license, you should have insurance on your space because if somebody falls and sues you, you're screwed.
Or even just renter's insurance, all of that product that you just bought.
What if there's a fire?
Fire, yeah.
Yeah, tornado. We're in Oklahoma. Earthquake. You should have insurance. Your shears.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something gets stolen. Someone robs your space. Mm-hmm. You're just going to buy all that. You should have insurance. So then that means your monthly take home at that is $2,408. So your $5,400 hit your bank, but you are only keeping $2,400. Let's see, what is that? I'm going to do that divisible. Let's see, 2,408 divided by 5,490. It's 43%.
Hallelujah.
43%. So you are making 43%, and that's if you stay on budget.
Yep. So a much easier breakdown is the commission side. I mean, you've got your total sales, you've got your percentage, and then let's just go down to taxes. Because, see, taxes, FICA taxes is only 7.65%.
So 7% comes out. That's the only thing you have to worry about. You're not worrying about your insurance. You're not worrying about any of those other things.
And then income tax right here, 20%.
Yep. And so what's their take home?
$2,409.26. So $1 more.
$1 more being commission.
At what percentage was that?
Let's see.
It says 40 to 60, 50%.
At 50%. Right. Okay. So if you're at 50%, you're going to make $1 more. But when we did the breakdown on this, you're making 43%.
Yeah.
But we haven't even gone into what you're paying your CPA. We haven't gone into social media.
Nope.
We haven't gone into
right here, you're still making less.
Yeah.
So as a booth runner, you're taking home $2,408 as a commission. You're taking at 50%. You're taking home $2,409.
Yeah.
That's in the same sales, same retail sold. And then, you get a retail bonus over here. Hell yeah, because
you're making the commission on it.
And then the same tips.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go into
actual time freedom and what you would spend. So now this is you're running your business. Now we're going to go into the actual side of talking to clients, like your time value.
Yeah, time value. So with this, you don't have to worry about this as a commission stylist. You take home that 2,409.
And that's it.
Yeah. But
taxes are done. We're good.
Yeah. As a booth renter, you only take home that 2,408. Now you have to pay for everything else that the owner does. So here's that other 10%.
That you could pay yourself.
Yeah.
Or
you could not do.
Or you could not do. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're not even paying yourself because we already did the number for only $5,000 hit your bank account. So you're still stuck at 43% and then taking that out. You don't even get to pay yourself the 10%. Okay, well, let's see how much you have to pay out on the other things.
So, I mean, these are really, really cheap averages. We've got booking app, $50. Do you know how much ours is?
Vagaro to start was, what, 200 a person? 90 a person?
I want to say the base was 50 something or 75.
Okay, so 50 to 75.
Yep, but then all the extra stuff you have to add to it. Jeez. And then you've got your quarterly tax preparation for $100.
I paid $2,000 last year.
Total. Yeah, this is for a month, so that'd be $1,200. So that's bookkeeping pretty much. Accounting software, no, that would be your like QuickBooks. So your bookkeeping would be $50. Equipment and tools, $50 a month, really. One of my shears is $1,200.
Yeah. So I
guess they last for a long time, but
so I can purchase one shear a year.
Okay. It's not, but then you can't purchase a blow dryer. Nothing else.
No blow dryers, no curling irons, nothing
else. And you know how those blow dryers break all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I have a 10-year warranty on mine, but let's see how long it actually stays good for. Marketing expenses, $250. Continuous education, they're putting $50 into continuous education
a month. So it was about that 10%. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've named them all.
So you can either pay for all of that to be done, or you can put the time. Some of those can be equated to time because you can't continuing education. You can't switch that out for time. You have to pay for your education.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, you can either, you can either take that home or not pay for it, which is $1,858, or you can pay for it. So after all of those expenses, your more likely take home is what, $1,800?
$1,858.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after paying all of that, and that's again, if these numbers are, and they might be higher, they might be lower, but you're going to take home $1,800. It's just insane to me to think like over $5,000 will hit your bank account, but you get to keep $1,800.
Yeah, you touch more money. You literally touch more money for the whole year. You touch it if you're not paying quarterly. If you're not allotting yourself money to hit your bank account and then saving for taxes and not even touching it.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I touched $60,000, but I'm only going to keep 20.
Oh my God.
That's insane. Yeah. So just be aware of that. Now, if you're going to truly budget and do all of that, like I think you're going to do great in booth rent, but you have to really be doing all of that and be okay with giving away 45 hours a month to do your own quarterly tax preparation, your marketing expenses, talking to people, all of your booking. Like booking alone, it says
that's
right here.
That's a whole extra week.
Yeah, 25 hours a week is average in this industry for booking people. Think about how many times you're sitting there talking to people. So,
I mean, my life is so much better now that I have a Brittany.
Yeah, exactly. Someone that does those things. So it's like at that point, okay, I can pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
But so is it your money or your time? Like what is more valuable to you? There's no right or wrong answer. You just have to pick something. It's not going to do it on its own. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, when we did this whole, like, people are moving to commission, it's not to hate on booth rent or suite rent, because people do it very, very well. Mm-hmm. But the reality is you generally do make more and don't have to worry about all those extra things.
No. Unless you want the control. Like I said, there's a time and a place for everything.
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true.
There's a time and a place. I mean, that's why we opened a commission salons, because we noticed something was missing. Something was not right. Mm-hmm. About our experience. Mm-hmm. Something had to be better out there.
Exactly. So find the salon that will fit what you want. You now know, especially if you listen to our episode before this one, what commission salons should be doing, and just find the one that fits, or find the booth rental salon that fits, but know what comes with that. Because no one in school is teaching you this stuff.
No, they just say you need to go booth rent because commission salons take your money.
Yeah, they take your money, or you're only going to get 40%. Well, we just proved that you're going to get no more than 43% if you're on a strict budget.
No more. And then that's you doing everything else.
Mm-hmm. So it was like when people are like, oh, well, I make 60%. Yeah, you could make up to that if you're budgeting really particular. But again, that's why I said earlier, I have never seen a stylist make more than 60%.
And most of the comments were like, yeah, the only time it would be better to be commissioned is if it were 30 or 70-30.
70-30. I'm like,
do you want to work outside?
yeah, exactly. Because the rent alone, like, yes, we have a higher overhead than most salons. We chose that. But we know that like the value that's poured back into the salon evens itself out. So it's not like I'm saying, I'm going to keep this because our rent's high. It's within budget. Our rent is within budget. We know that we can only spend a certain percentage, and what's brought in matches that percentage. So if you want something nice, the numbers better match or you're going to be screwed.
Yeah, and you have to make a match. So, I mean, starting out, did we have this huge rent? No. But once we grew and once our sales could cover this rent, that's when we acquired the other space.
Exactly. So you just have to be smart about that stuff. Have someone, even a financial advisor, something before you just because you're making more money doesn't mean your problems go away. They just get bigger. So just have someone that's going to guide you.
It's so true.
It's so true. Like, It's like, okay, so
if the bank account doesn't say 50K,
we're
it's
screwed.
Scary.
It's scary. But if you were just a standalone stylist and you had 50K, it means a lot because your overhead's not as high. I mean, it's all just in like the eye of the beholder, honestly. Like you just because you're making more doesn't mean that your problems go away.
No,
it just means now I have to write $20,000 checks instead of $200 checks.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I feel like that was a really good breakdown.
It is. I mean, because most people aren't going to get something like that. And I mean, if you guys have any questions at all about stuff, like we can break things down. We can post about this. If you ever have questions, we're an open book.
We can help you. So, we need some more topics.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Comment. Let us know.
Let us know what you're interested in, what you want to hear about. We obviously don't shy away from things. I mean, most people aren't going to talk about money, but we have no issues. So anything else you want to throw at us, tell us. Like, we will talk about it.
Yep.
For sure. I know in a couple of episodes, we're going to bring someone in that is a salon owner that was commissioned before, and have her chat a little bit about her experience. So then you can hear more about like that transition, because we want to support that too. So it's like you have all the tools and knowledge to do what you want to do.
She went from commission to owning. That's a huge step.
That's a huge step.
Because I mean, I went from commission to booth rent to suite rent to educator,
Then
to owning. Yeah. With a partner. So,
exactly. So
damn. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. All right. Well, we're done with this episode. If you have any questions at all, reach out to us, comment below, tell us what you think. I'd love to know your numbers, challenge us. If you truly think you're making more, I would love to see it. I'd be interested. All right.
Only if you pay your taxes.
Yeah, I'm only talking to people paying their taxes. All right. Bye.
Bye.